Now to break down the indictment of former FBI Director James Comey, as CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane. Scott, let's jump right in. This indictment, unusually brief, just 2 pages, and it carries only the signature of President Trump's newly appointed U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, Lindsey Halligan. What exactly does that signal to you?
That this case is just different than the rest. It's a unicorn, and there'll be an arraignment of a former FBI director in Alexandria Federal Court October 9th. That in itself is quite striking. But the case is not well detailed yet. The Department of Justice put in a sufficient amount of information to get those Virginia grand jurors to approve the indictment, but they haven't specified exactly what statement James Comey gives that they believe to be false, or how he specifically obstructed the legislative branch as they've charged. And typically, in federal courts, be it Alexandria, D.C., Greenbelt, wherever you are in America, there are line prosecutors, trial prosecutors that will put their names on the charging documents. In this case, it's just the U.S. attorney herself. That is different, and this is a U.S. attorney in her first ever prosecutor job who got the job Monday and was a White House aide on Sunday.
Wow. And we've also been able to review the indictment alleges that Comey lied during an exchange with Senator Ted Cruz about whether he authorized a leak tied to the Trump or Hillary Clinton investigations. Comey denied it. Senator Cruz claims then Deputy Director Andrew McCabe acted with Comey's approval. Do the facts support that allegation?
They haven't put much into the charging document yet to measure that. It's quite possible, if not likely, at some point between now and in the coming months, the Department of Justice files what's called a superseding indictment, a new indictment, maybe with more charges, but certainly with more detail and more allegations. Then you can get a sense of what from that September 2020 obscure Senate hearing has been deemed criminal. And just, it may be trivial to other people, but important to us in our area where we live. This is being charged in Virginia because that was during COVID, that Senate hearing, and James Comey was appearing by Zoom from McLean, which puts him in the Eastern District of Virginia when he gave that testimony.
Well, Scott, before we let you go, there's no secret that there's been long clashes between James Comey, President Trump. Over the weekend, the president appeared to pressure Attorney General Pam Bondi to pursue Comey and others, and then celebrated this indictment. Could a judge interpret this as sort of selective or even vindictive prosecution in some cases?
It's very common for criminal defendants throughout America to argue selective prosecution, that they were picked out in particular. It's hard to get a measure yet as to whether it's more likely in this case, though these are some profoundly different dynamics, with the president is name-checking the defendant and celebrating the charges. But I think there'll be a number of defenses mustered by James Comey early in this case, potentially to seek dismissal of this case. And legal experts with whom we spoke today said the judge is not going to be ignorant of the backstory here. It's going to be hard to avoid what's going on, and judges, potential future jurors, are going to know some of what preceded this unique, if not historic, criminal case.
All right, Scott MacFarlane, thank you so much for that insight. And before we go, your take on the game this Sunday with the Commanders.
Doesn't that depend on whether Jaden Daniels plays? Because he's not practicing today, and that causes a level of heartburn in my friend group that is really transcendent.
Scott MacFarlane, thank you so much. We'll talk to you next week.